You just walked into a room full of people, and without saying a single word, some faces turn toward you. You feel it. They feel it, but nobody can explain why. There's an invisible force at work right now, an energy that doesn't depend on your words, your appearance, or any technique you've learned. It simply radiates from you, like heat rising from a sun-baked road. But here's what almost nobody tells you about this silent energy. Most people spend their entire lives trying to cultivate presence. They spend fortunes on public speaking courses. They memorize body language techniques. They practice power poses in front of the mirror. And all the while, they waste the one thing that truly matters, the energy that already exists within them. Eckhart Tolle discovered something revolutionary. He realized that we try so hard to impress others that we forget to simply be. And in this desperate attempt to make an impact, we block the natural impact we already have. It's like trying to light a candle that's already lit. Have you ever been with someone who doesn't need to say much to be noticed? That person who walks into an elevator and somehow everyone becomes more aware of their own breathing. It's not charisma. It's not learned confidence. It's something deeper, quieter, more real. It's pure presence. But why do some people have access to this and others don't? The answer will surprise you. We all have access. The difference lies in what we do with our mental energy while in the presence of others. Think of a young child entering a room. They aren't thinking about how they'll be perceived. They aren't calculating the right words. They aren't trying to control the impression they make. They simply exist there, completely present, completely themselves, and everyone feels it. This is silent energy in its purest state, before it's tainted by the need for approval, before it's fragmented by social anxiety, before it's blocked by the fear of judgment. Have you ever felt the difference between talking to someone who is truly present and someone who is just waiting for their turn to speak? The present person has a magnetic quality. Even in silence, you feel drawn to them. You want to be near. You want to absorb some of that tranquility. This is no coincidence. It's pure neuroscience. When someone is truly present, the brains of others detect this quality through micro-expressions, tone of voice, and even through signals we haven't yet been able to scientifically measure, but we can feel it. We always can feel it. The problem is we've been conditioned to do the exact opposite. From a young age, we learn that we need to impress to be accepted, that we need to perform to be loved, that we need to constantly prove our worth. And so we begin to fragment our energy. Part goes to what we're saying, part goes to how we're being perceived, part goes to what we'll say next. And in the end, almost nothing is left to simply be present. It's like trying to illuminate an entire room with a cell phone flashlight split into 10 pieces. Each fragment barely manages to illuminate a small corner. But if you brought all that light into a single focus, the whole room would light up. Eckhart Tolle calls this being grounded in the present moment. But I want you to understand something that goes beyond spiritual theory. There's an immediate practical application, one you can start using before this video even ends. Have you noticed how some people can calm an entire environment just with their presence? How others can raise the energy of everyone around them without saying a word? It's not magic, it's physics. It's the difference between dispersed energy and concentrated energy. Imagine a completely still lake, crystal clear. When you throw a stone, the waves spread out in perfect circles, touching the entire shore. Now imagine the same lake during a storm. Agitated, turbulent. If you threw the same stone, the waves would be lost in the chaos. Your presence works exactly like this. When your mind is agitated, worried about 1,000 things, calculating answers, anticipating problems, your energy becomes that stormy lake. Even if you say the right words, even if you have the ideal posture, the energy you emanate is fragmented, chaotic, and people feel it. But when you are truly present, Your energy becomes that crystal clear lake. Every word you speak, every gesture you make, every second of silence, everything propagates in clear and powerful waves, touching everyone around you in a profound and inexplicable way. And here's what nobody teaches you about this. You don't need to learn this ability. You need to unlearn the habits that block it. You don't need to build this energy. You need to stop wasting it. You don't need to develop presence. You need to remove the obstacles that prevent your natural presence from emerging. It's like cleaning a foggy mirror. The mirror always had the ability to reflect perfectly. The problem was only the dirt on the surface. Think about the last time you felt completely at ease with someone. Maybe a close friend, maybe a beloved family member. In those moments, you weren't trying to impress. You weren't performing. You were just being yourself, completely relaxed and present. Do you remember how powerful you felt in those moments? How your voice came out clearer? How your words flowed naturally? How you felt magnetic without any effort? That's your silent energy in action. But why does this only happen with close people? Why do we lose this naturalness with strangers? Why does our energy fragment precisely when we need it most? The answer lies in what Eckhart Tolle identified as the main cause of human suffering: excessive identification with our thoughts, especially our thoughts about how others see us. When you enter a room full of strangers, your mind starts to calculate. What will they think of me? How should I behave? What should I say? And with each question, a piece of your energy diverts from the present moment and goes to this mental theater. The result? You are physically present, but energetically absent. And people feel this absence. Even if they can't explain it, they notice that you're there, but you're not really there, that you're talking to them, but a part of you is talking to imaginary voices in your head. This creates a subtle discomfort, a feeling that something is missing from the interaction. And the more you try to compensate with techniques and strategies, the more artificial everything becomes. It's a vicious cycle that most people never manage to break. But there's a way out, one that's both simple and revolutionary. Stop trying to be interesting. Start being interested. This is one of Eckhart Tolle's most powerful discoveries about human presence. When you're genuinely interested in what's happening around you, when you're truly curious about the people in front of you, your energy stops fragmenting. It stops scattering into mental calculations, and it focuses entirely on the present moment. This creates what I call a magnetic focus. You know that feeling of talking to someone who's really paying attention to you, not just waiting for their turn to speak, not just being polite, but genuinely interested in what you're sharing. It's almost hypnotic, isn't it? You feel seen, heard, valued, and automatically, you feel drawn to that person. You want to spend more time in their presence. You want to get to know them better. You want to absorb some of that quality of attention. That's quiet energy operating at its highest level. And here's the game-changing secret. This ability has nothing to do with extroverted or introverted personality. It has nothing to do with being talkative or quiet. It has nothing to do with being funny or serious. It has to do with only one thing: the quality of your attention. Magnetic people aren't necessarily the most charismatic. They're the most present. They're not the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who listen best. They're not the ones who impress the most. They're the ones who connect most. And true connection only happens in the present moment. But I'll tell you something that can revolutionize the way you view your social interactions. This quiet energy doesn't just work in person. It operates even through screens, video calls, and text messages. Whenever you're truly present, people feel it, no matter the medium. Have you ever received a message from someone and immediately felt that the person was distracted while writing it? The words were correct, but something was missing, a quality, a presence behind the words. And have you received messages that, even though they were short, carried such clear energy that you could almost feel the person on the other side of the screen? completely present, completely focused on you in that moment. That's the difference between fragmented communication and present communication, between scattered energy and concentrated energy, between artificial impact and natural magnetism. And now you're starting to understand something that few people realize. This quiet energy that you possess isn't a rare talent. It's not a special gift. It's not something you need to develop through years of practice. It's your natural condition. That's how you functioned before you learned that you needed to impress others. That's how you still function when you're completely relaxed and present. That's how you will always function when you stop fragmenting your energy in 1,000 different directions. But there's still an obstacle, the biggest of all. The belief that you're not interesting enough on your own, that you need to add something, do something, perform something, to be worthy of attention and connection. This belief is what kills your quiet energy before it even has a chance to emerge. Because when you believe you're not enough, you automatically start trying to be more. And in that attempt to be more, you disconnect from who you really are. You distance yourself from the present moment. And you block the only thing that truly magnetizes people, your natural authenticity. Eckhart Tolle discovered that behind all social anxiety lies a fundamental lie. The lie that you need to be different from who you are to be accepted and valued. And the more you buy into this lie, the further you stray from your natural energy. The more you fragment your presence, the more you block your innate magnetism. It's like trying to improve the sound of a violin by playing it out of tune. The more you try, the worse it gets. The solution isn't to try harder, it's to tune the instrument, to return to natural harmony. And your natural harmony is complete presence in the present moment. Have you ever observed how some people manage to transform a superficial conversation into a deep connection without changing anything about the content? They don't talk about deeper subjects. They don't use more eloquent words. They don't apply special techniques. They simply are there, completely, entirely, without reservation. And this total presence transforms even the most banal conversation into a memorable experience. It's like the difference between listening to music on an old radio full of static and listening to the same music on a crystal clear sound system. The content is identical, but the quality of the transmission transforms everything. Your presence is your transmission quality, and when it's clear, clean, without mental interference, even the simplest words carry an inexplicable power. Even silences become eloquent. Even your quietude becomes magnetic. This is quiet energy in its most refined state. But here's something that will change your perspective forever on your social interactions. This energy doesn't just affect how others feel in your presence. It affects how you feel in your own presence. When you stop fragmenting your energy trying to impress others, when you stop constantly calculating other people's reactions, when you finally allow yourself to be completely present, something magical happens. You start to enjoy your own company. You discover that you don't need external validation to feel valuable. You don't need constant approval to feel secure. You don't need to perform to feel worthy of love and connection. Because you find all of that in your own presence. And when you become your best company, you automatically become a better company for others. When you feel complete alone, you don't need to suck energy from the people around you. You can offer energy. You can nurture, you can uplift, you can magnetize. And true magnetism never comes from lack, never comes from need, never comes from wanting something from others. It always comes from abundance, from completeness, from being so full of presence that you naturally overflow to everyone around you. It's like a glass of water completely full. Any additional drop overflows naturally, without effort, without forcing, simply because there's no more room inside. When you are completely present, completely full of your own energy, you automatically overflow presence to everyone around you, and people feel nourished by this abundance. They want to be close. They want to absorb a bit of that quality. They want to learn how you manage to be so complete on your own. And the answer is always the same. Stop seeking completeness outside yourself. Stop seeking validation in the reactions of others. Stop fragmenting your energy into 1,000 attempts to impress. And start impressing yourself with the depth of the present moment, with the richness of your own inner experience, with the miracle of being alive and conscious at this very moment. This is pure presence. This is quiet energy. This is natural magnetism. And it's available to you right now. Not after learning techniques, not after practicing for months, not after becoming an improved version of yourself. Now, exactly as you are, exactly where you are. Just stop resisting the present moment. Stop trying to control how others see you. Stop calculating the perfect words and simply be here, completely dumb, without reservation. But there's still a nagging question. If this is so simple, if this energy already exists within us, why is it so difficult to access? Why do some people seem to have discovered this secret while others spend their entire lives searching? The answer lies in what happens to our energy as we grow up. Imagine a child running freely in an open field. They don't think about how they're running. They don't worry about whether they're running the right way. They don't compare their run to that of other children. They simply run with pure joy, with total presence. Now imagine the same child 10 years later in a physical education class, worried about whether they're running fast enough, calculating whether others think they're athletic, anxious about their performance, fragmented between running and watching themselves run. Which of the two versions do you think runs with more natural grace? That's the difference between natural, quiet energy and energy conditioned by the fear of judgment. And here's the truth nobody wants to tell you. You haven't lost your natural energy. It's intact, functioning perfectly. You've just learned to cover it with layers and layers of anxious self-observation. It's like putting 15 coats on a summer day. The heat of your body is still there. But you can't feel it because of all the layers you've added. Eckhart Tolle discovered that there's a specific pattern